You don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Dead up perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the first part of What If Deku Enters Kamenrider. Special note, this fanfic is written in a masterpiece of Mikkel97 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Year 2068. The world is dead. What was before deep, beautiful forests became a fried desert with little twigs. Big blue oceans become dried bottoms. Clear skies become polluted red. Where mountains were before now crushed rocks. All megapolises changed to abandoned ghost towns. The entire population was reduced from 100 billion to at least hundreds. In total, the world has become a wasteland. The only thing that wasn't destroyed is a big monument in the center of the country, which was called Japan. It contains statues of 19 armored warriors and 1 normal human. Their motifs are similar and different to each other. They represent from mystical magic and ancient civilizations to genius gears and futuristic technologies. The only thing that has each statue have belts around their waist, and the person in the center is a young teenager boy with freckles and bushy hair. At the bottom of the monument is an article. In the memory of the Kamenriders, true protectors of the planet. Let the world remember their noble sacrifice. Near the monument stands a figure remembering good times of the past. Clad in a black suit, he had elegant gold-winged shoulder pads, gold lining and padding on his arms and legs. A giant golden rolled-styled watch band wrapped around his chest like a sash, golden belt with a display screen which had golden wing extensions on the side, and coming from his back were 2 giant white clock hands styled like a cape. He wore a helmet which looked like a giant golden watch with a blank face. His visor reads Rider in katakana in the rough shape of an eagle. On his forehead were 3 golden watches, 2 of them are set to the 10 and 2 position. While the silver symbol on his forehead reads Kamen, also in katakana. His aura alone can make an army surrender. Everyone who comes close to him feels fear. He would obliterate you with a simple glance. Suddenly around the figure appears many people. Half of them armed to the teeth, others activate their powers. In addition, giant robots land near them making a small army. However, Black Cornered doesn't look afraid. If anything, it looks amusing to him that these pathetic worms think that they can kill him. The army made their move. Weapons shoot, fireballs, lightning, water, energy, ice and many others attack him. People become big, have rock and steel skins, and transform into beasts. Even robots fly to obliterate their target. Unfortunately, the target merely gives them a glance. He simply flicked his wrist making everyone freeze. Then he waves his hand and a film of distortion runs around the air and every attacker and machine is defeated or destroyed much to the shock of an army. He then looks at the remains of the people and decides to remind them about their place. So, then they would stop trying killing themselves. "You have no chance to defeat me," he announced. His voice is both soft and terrifying. Do you know why? Because there are no more heroes in this world. This person is Kamenrider Omazayo. Before he was the strongest hero who ever existed. However, right now he is known as the darkest and worst demon king. Also known as Mao. He became the greatest threat in history because he almost destroyed an entire planet. Nobody knows why he did change his way and how he gained his omnipotent powers. But he is unstoppable and undefeatable. He obliterates entire armies easily. And it was like this for 50 years. We then found ourselves in the dark room with a single person. He is a black-haired young man who appeared to be in his late teens. His wavy hair is mostly put to the right side of his face, while his left side is neatly combed and pulled back over the ear. He wears a faded green jacket with dark green cuffs, silver buttons, black trousers and leather boots with straps and gray-purple scarf. In his hand is a large book with clock faces and gears emblazoned on it. The cover is the Oma Advent Calendar. My name is Waz. Omazayo's trusted aide and historical chronicler, announced Waz with a bow. And right now, I will write down the true story of Waga Mao, my demon king. This is a story about how Izukumidoriya became the greatest king of heroes. And this is how our story starts. Year 2018. World changed many years ago. When in China was born a child who had the ability to emanate the light from its body. After that, many people started to awaken their powers. World was in chaos from this development. This power was named a quirk. Many people started to use their powers for their own cause. Fortunately, there were people who wanted to counter criminals. These are how heroes and villains come to the known world. Right now, society lives in the age of peace, where heroes' work becomes a prestige job. Many dreams of being a hero. For that, there are many schools to teach it. Unfortunately, not everyone can be born equal. That lesson, little Izukumidoriya learnt when he was young. He became one of the people who wasn't born without quirk, making him quirkless. After that, all his friends left him alone and started to avoid him as a plague. Most importantly, it could be over for his dream. Nobody would take a quirkless hero seriously. For a moment, Izuku thought that he would give up on his dream to become a hero. Fortunately, he is not one to lose hope. When Midoriya was 5 and lost to his friends, he was attacked in the middle of the park by a strange creature. He thought that it was a villain, but the attack of it was too unpredictable and savage. There weren't any heroes who could take it down. When Izuku prepares for the worst, he is rescued by a stranger. He didn't remember much of his savior about that time, but he would never forget the belt he wore and the bike he rode on. After this incident, Izuku learnt about the existence of kamenriders, urban legends in Japan. Masked heroes in the shadows, who protects the world from many disasters, which pros can't defeat. For some people, they are criminals because of their vigilante activities and unauthorized quirk usage. Others see them as true defenders of justice for their heroic actions and selflessness. However, there are important things to notice. All riders are quirkless humans. All of their powers consist of high technology, ancient magic, space energy, or mystical civilization. That revelation inspired Izuku so high that his dream to become a hero became brighter than ever. However, there is some twist. He wants to become kamenrider too. He started to take any information about riders everywhere. Their powers, allies, weapons, etc. Some of them were pretty easy to gather, because many riders made their identity known, such as Ajido, Kiva, W, Force, Drive, X-Aid, and Build. He also starts to train himself his body and skills. After 10 years of hellish training, Izuku could beat school bullies with no difficulty by using martial arts. With his new muscular body and cute face, he earns himself a female fanbase, much to his embarrassment. A week ago, he learned that UA, the best hero school in Japan, gave permission for quirkless to join. That made his inner fire burn brighter. If they gave them a chance to prove themselves, he would do anything to enter this school. What he didn't knew that his life would change today in the way he couldn't imagine. Aldera Junior High. The day at school is almost over. One class already was planning to go home. However, the teacher asked them to stay after lessons to talk about their future. Nobody was glad to stay and talk about careers because already everything had been decided. I know that some of you wanted to go home. Unfortunately, you need to fill in the blanks about your college applications. The teacher started with a boring tone as his students. But why do we even care? He then throws paper in the air and continues, I know that you want to join hero schools. Yeah, you have good quirks. Now please stop doing it. You know that it's forbidden. At his words, students stopped using their quirks. Except one. Teach, don't put me with its weak rejects, screamed blonde one using explosion. His name is Katsuki Bakugou, Izuku's former childhood friend. In contrast, Midoriya's worklessness and humble personality. Katsuki have a quirk, which can produce introgression from his sweat and, in short version, he is ego jerk with oversized ego. When Bakugo got a quirk, he left Midoriya alone and started to show off his powers at the weak people. In other words, he started to bully and torture them. The only one who can stand up to him is Izuku itself. In another life, he wouldn't dare to fight against Katsuki. He wouldn't even move. Fortunately, after learning material arts, fighting against the bully is more than enough. Oh, yeah. I remember Bakugo-kun sent his papers to you, and passed the test, said the teacher, not noticing insults thrown at Bakugo. The whole class looked at Katsuki in shock. The chance to pass the exam is 0.3%. Looks like his power didn't blow up his brain. Yet, now you see, damn extras, I will be the only one who will leave this shitty school and go to UA, Bakugo boasted to them, ignoring the glares. I will become new #1 hero. Even stronger and more powerful than All Might. Fortunately, the teacher unintentionally stopped his boasting by adding one little fact. Also, did Midoriya put applications to the UA either? That made the entire class freeze and to look at the nerdy muscular teen with wonder. Then whispers came. Some believe in him, some thought that this is absurd, some called him insane. However, one of them was furious and decided to show it. Deku, screamed Bakugo, exploding his table again. But that didn't earn any reaction from Izuku. He already got used to it. What the heck, Deku? I supposed to be the only one who would leave that shitty school in the UA. You have no right to even try. You are quirkless weakling. That's no place for you. First of all, they already took off that rule a week ago, Izuku explained with a tired sigh. He grew full with Katsuki's attitude and ego. Time to show him that the world is not spinning around him. And you know, Kaken, this is my dream from childhood. I will not give up so easily without a fight. I should at least try. You don't know your place, you quirkless shit. Don't compare yourself to me, seethed Bakugo in anger. I already know my place, you explosion bully, countered Midoriya back with less anger. However, before either of them could continue, the teacher stopped them, saying that this act would go straight to profile file. So, both of them stopped. But if you see a glance between them, then you would understand that the fight will continue. And they guessed it was right. After the lesson ended, both of them met near the school pond. And the fight began. Both of the opponents are equally matched. Katsuki's explosions hurt Izuku a lot as Midoriya's punches and kicks made Bakugo stumble a bit. At the first glance, anybody could say that the bully is winning. However, Katsuki, as many pros, have one weakness. No understanding of hand-to-hand combat. He only utilizes his quirk to attack. That was his mistake. As he flies to Izuku ready to blast him, only for Rider fans to grab his hand and flip him on his back, winning the match while shocking the crowd. The fight is over, he simply said, going back to his backpack while ignoring the class. Nothing is over, wailed Bakugo in anger. Some people just can't take losing. You really think that you would become a hero only because there is some weak, quirkless people out there? It would made you a hero. Kamen riders are not weak, screamed Izuku in rage. No one would insult his idols. You are not Kamen rider, countered Katsuki, pretty pleased that he made a reaction from his pebble. You are nothing. You would never amount to anything. You would never become a pro, and your great and powerful Kamen riders will be extinct. Before Midoriya could punch him, the teacher appeared and stopped the fight, sending all of them home, much to the chagrin to the students who made bets. Before Katsuki left the gates, Izuku let out a simple, Kamen riders would never die. In answer, he receives only a scoff. After everybody left, Izuku went back to the pond to take his backpack, thinking about his fight with Katsuki. He knows that his former best friend is an egomaniac jerk who loves to show his powers and boasting about his future. But still, fighting him never felt right for Midoriya. Kachen, why are you so difficult? He asked himself before looking down. He finds some kind of watch-looking toy in gray color in the size of his palm. Despite looking blank, he felt some kind of potential power inside them. What it is? His thoughts were interrupted by an enthusiastic voice. Congratulations, Izuku-sama, said the figure in the hood with a book, startling boy. You are lucky today. Looks like your dream is about to start. Izuku-sama? Are you sure you're talking to the right person? He asked in confusion and slight shock. Nobody called him with that suffix, ever. And who you are, for that matter? I am sorry. Where are my manners? Asked the stranger, taking off his hood. My name is Waz, the man who will write about the greatest people of all time. It's a great honor to meet you. I am glad to meet you, Midoriya said nervously. Something strange was around this man, he doesn't know what exactly. But he feels that this Waz wouldn't hurt him. At least he hopes. You should keep this watch. This trinket will give you a big help, said Waz while pointing at the device on his hand. And most importantly, you should beware of big red robots, or else your ambitions would be over before they could ever start. What do you? Izuku started to ask, only to turn around and find out that Waz disappeared, like he wasn't here in the first place. It looks like Kaken blew me up harder than I thought. With a little shrug, he went home, already thinking what to tell his mother about his scorched clothes. He didn't even notice two pairs of eyes who were spying at him from a distance. I can't believe that's him, commented male figure looking at Izuku through the binocular in disbelief. He is a 15-year-old teenager boy with slightly spiked black hair. He is wearing black jacket and trousers with red lines and flat comfy all-purpose shoes and black back straightener over his jacket. His name is Grizz Mayakanen. He looks the same as the statue, pointed out the female figure watching as Izuku exited the school grounds. She is a 15-years-old teenage girl with long shoulder-length black hair. She wears white long dress that comes down to her knees with a white cloak wrapped around her. Her name is Tsukayomi. Behind both of them stands two giant robots. One crimson and black, the second is gray and white. These are time machines, mechas which can travel through time and space. They are used by the few members of Resistance in 2068, just like G's and Tsukayomi. They were sent with a mission to kill Demon King before he would gain his omnipotence. However, there are some problems with it. First of all, it was immoral to kill an innocent kid because of the future of his older self. Secondly, it was because their target was not looking evil at all. He just looks like a normal kid with determination and dreams. It will make things difficult. Maybe we were mistaken? Asked Tsukayomi in confusion. You saw that traitor down there. If it was any other person wouldn't even come to him, let alone talk with him, answered G's with a shake of his hand. But you must admit that he holds himself good against Bakugo. He didn't even use his powers, and wanted to end the fight only if Katsuki didn't decide to insult kamenriders. I know, she nodded with a sad frown. I still can't believe that this brat is our mentor. He was so different in the past. It looks like a completely different person. Both of them are completely different people, Mayacoin commented with disdain. That will make our mission harder. Do you still want to kill him? Tsukayomi asked with disappointment. He is innocent. I don't want to do it. But do I have a choice? He asked in annoyance and impatience. We can't go back home if we don't kill him. Let's just observe him for now, she advised him with inspiration. So that way we can prevent him from becoming Demon King. We can't stalk him all his life. We don't know when Oma's day will happen, countered G's. And the more we wait, the more difficult it will be for us to kill him. With these words, he entered his crimson time machine and left Tsukayomi alone with her thoughts. Stopping Oma's I.O. and saving her time was her mission. She would complete it without a question. But killing an innocent young kid is too immoral for her. She remembers the first lesson her mentor told both of them. We can't kill people who are innocent or people who were forced to do unforgivable things. If we do, then we are not different from the evil we fight against. Remembering his words, Tsukayomi finally decided what she will do. Izuku couldn't imagine that his day could become worse than before. After battle with Bakugo, he decided to go home, but because of the last hero fight his familiar road was blocked and he chose to go another way. That was his mistake. The second he entered the tunnel under the bridge, he was attacked by a stinky villain with a body made of sludge. Criminal didn't waste his time as he started to suffocate poor Midoriya to death while cackling about something incomprehensible. Slowly losing the air in his lungs, Izuku started to think of a way to escape. The villain is made only from sludge. It means that all physical attacks would be useless. Fortunately, the villain has some solid part in the form of his eye. Acting on instinct, he swung his leg and stuck Sludge's eye, freeing himself. Izuku then breathes hard, trying to not faint from almost losing oxygen in his lungs. Unfortunately, the villain quickly regained consciousness and wants vengeance. You little brat, you could die fast, but now you will die slowly and more painfully. That was bad news for Izuku. He still feels sore from Bakugo's assault and he still can't catch his breath. He is down for it. However, before Sludge could attack Izuku, it was smashed to the ground by a giant metal fist. Izuku looks up and sees Jesus' time machine. It was a shock for a boy. He could never imagine that he would be saved by Mecha. Mechas was deeply forgotten at this time period, even in the TV. Seeing one in real life gave Midoriya a little fascinating shock. He notices that Mecha have yellow eyes, and its battle mode chest reads Robo in hiragana, confusing him deeply. But still he can't let him go away without a little talk with it. Mecha-sen, thank you for saving me. Unfortunately, before Izuku could say something else, Time Machine's eyes started to glow ominously and looked at Izuku with an intent to kill. Then Mecha thrusts his fist with an objective to smash the kid. Fortunately, because of adrenaline, he dodges the robot fist easily and then tries to escape, but in the open field he is at a big disadvantage as Mecha can fly. Before the robot could end Izuku's life, it was stopped by the muscular individual. He is a very large man with an equally muscular and well-defined physique. He has short blonde hair, swept backwards, with two distinct tufts that stick up above his head, leaning slightly to each side, which often casts a dark shadow over his face, hiding everything but his bright blue eyes. His name is All Might, one hero, symbol of peace and Midoriya's idol. Young man, it's all right. Do you know why? All Might asked rhetorically while holding the metal fist. Because I am here. Izuku was deeply shocked by the appearance of his favorite hero fighting against Mecha, so that he didn't notice Tsukayomi and a pretty brunette girl grabbed his hand and took him away from the fight. If someone said that everything today was strange, it would be an understatement of the century. Seeing number one hero put Jesus' mission in jeopardy, his mentor told him about All Might and his accomplishments. It was the only person who could rival Kamen riders in pure strength. It didn't help that the young version of the world's destroyer didn't look evil at all. He even considered the words of Tsukayomi and their mentor, but he didn't have a choice for that matter. The only thing for his people to survive is to kill Izukumidoriya. However, it is very difficult when something gets in his way. His mentor, All Might, his moral compass, Tsukayomi, and some brunette girl. Looking through the optics of his Time magazine, he noticed that his target was taken away by Tsukayomi and some unknown girl. Tsukayomi, he said in annoyance, he will get a serious talk with her. After he somehow escapes All Might. After 15 minutes of constant running, Izuku thought about what happened today. He fought against Bakugo, met man who call him Izuku-sama, was attacked by a sludge villain, saved by a giant mecha who then tried to kill him, met All Might. He still regrets that he didn't talk to him or ask for an autograph, and finally he was taken away from fight by two girls. Today is the strangest day in his life. He wouldn't be surprised if something else happens today. At that moment he decided to comprehend the last action that happened to him. He was saved by two girls. He looks up and sees them. One of them is a pretty girl with black hair and white dress. She was panting hard from all of that running. The second one takes his breath away. She is a short 15-year-old girl of slender yet feminine build. She is fair-skinned with a perpetual blush on her cheeks. Her eyes are large and round, their irises a warm brown, with rather thick upper eyelashes, two longer and more prominent ones protruding outwards on either side and fewer but more individually pronounced lower eyelashes. Shoulder length and about the same color as her eyes. Her hair is bobbed and curved inwards at the ends, two longer clumps taking the same shape on either side of her face, and short bangs that reach roughly a quarter of the way down her forehead. She is wearing a blue jacket with red aspects, white button-up shirt, red big bow, brown gloves, long plaid skirt, black stockings and simple black shoes. Her name is Ochako Yororaka, young girl with a dream to become a heroine to help her parents. She is panting so hard. However, Izuku's attention was only on Ochako. She looks so pretty. He saw many girls in his life, but this is the prettiest he ever saw. He just couldn't take his eyes off her, and he doesn't want it. It was a big surprise, she commented with a big sigh of relief. She has an angelic voice. I couldn't believe that there is mecha walking around. Good thing All Might was nearby or all of us would be injured. Yeah, probably, answered Izuku, stuttering nervously. He never had any experience in talking with girls, despite his popularity. He then realized something and thought in disbelief. I just talked with a girl for the first time. Oh, my name is Ochako Yororaka. Sorry for not introducing myself earlier, Ochako said with a smile. What's your name? Izukumidoriya, said Izuku nervously. Talking to girls was much more difficult for him. Do you have any idea where that robot came from? I know where Midoriya-san is, answered Tsukayomi, making herself visible to others. My name is Tsukayomi, and there is something you must know. What is it? He asked in confusion. I know what I will say right now. Would probably paint me as crazy, but it's true. She carefully began looking at teens with worry. She planned to give her explanation to Izuku, but to another person. It will be very troublesome. I am not from this time. I am from the future, more precisely 2068. And I need your assistance to stop the strongest dictator in history. Right, commented both Yororaka and Midoriya with a slight fear on their faces. To hear someone claim that he or she from the future means only one thing. That she is crazy and they need to run away. I know that it sounds crazy, but it's true, Tsukayomi explained, trying to unsuccessfully earn their trust. She then picks her strange-looking phone and pushes some buttons. But I hope it will help you understand that I am serious. Behind them they heard something landed. They both turns around and sees the same mecha that attacked Izuku, only this one had colors gray and white and its battle mode chest reads Robo in katakana. Okay, we are ready to hear you out, Ochako simply answered, still in shock at seeing the giant robot. The explanation was pretty much fast and, surprisingly, understandable. The short version. Her name is Tsukayomi and she came from 2068. These mechas are called time machines. Big robots with a purpose to travel through time and space. In the future, it was a time period of both strife and progression. Progression because of technologies like this. And strife because in her time there is an evil and strongest dictator with omnipotence power, and she is a member of resistance who fights against him. Both of the teens, despite the existence of Time Machine, have some doubts. Before they were eaten accidentally by T-Rex when they visited a late Jurassic. Tsukayomi profusely apologized for her mistake. However, there was some question Izuku needed an answer right now. Wait, if your dictator is so powerful, then why Kamen Riders didn't try to stop him? He asked in confusion. Yeah, he is right. Crazy megalomaniacs who want world's domination is kinda their specialty, commented Ochako. They were first to attack him, Tsukayomi explained with a sad sigh shocking them. But he was too strong and he obliterated them one by one. And after their demise, heroes lost any will to fight, making them weaker with each year. Even Kuga, the strongest Kamen Rider? Midoriya asked in horror. From all his research of Kamen Riders he learnt that Kuga, first official Heisei Rider, is the strongest of them all. There are also some rumors that his power rivals All Might. What about Fours? This guy has literally the power of all space, continued Uraraka, frantically surprising the greenhead. He didn't expect a girl to know so much about his idols. Kamen Riders is a topic not some could talk. Even Kuga and Fours, Tsukayomi answered solemnly. He controls time and space. The worst horrible villainous demon king. His powers give him omnipotence. Omni what? Asked Brennet in confusion. He can snap his fingers and we all are dust, explained Izuku in dread realization, shocking the poor girl. That's all you wanted to say? Actually, this is something you need to know, she said gravely while taking out her datapad. She then activates and shows two teens a new image. This is how he looks. This is a man who rules the world in 2068. Both Izuku and Ochako looked at the image and could only see the gap in shock. They see black figures with gold aspects with a red visor in katakana. Most noticeable thing about him was his golden belt with a display screen which had golden wing extensions on the side. Looking at the belt made Midoriya understand the identity of this mystical warrior. Dictator from 50 years in the future is Kamen Rider, deduced boy in horror realization. Yes, his name is Kamen Rider Omazai-o. Just like I said, he is Demon King of time and space. He is the strongest and most powerful Kamen Rider in history. And his strength has no bounds. Omazai-o? I never heard about this Kamen Rider, Ochako commented in confusion. He doesn't exist yet. He will start originally as Kamen Rider Zio. Today is supposed to be a day when he would acquire his driver, explained the future girl preparing for grave news. I see, nodded Midoriya in understanding before starting to mutter. But I don't understand what you want to do with us. You should wait when All Might would end his fight, and then he will help you to find this Omazai-o in the past and then. Let me interfere here, Midoriya-san, Tsukayomi interrupted his mutter wave. There are some difficulties about Omazai-o's origins. We don't know much, but we know his identity. That's good news, commented Ochako with happiness. Now we can find him and convince him to not become Demon King. If it was only so easy, Uraraka-san, said Blackhead before looking at Izuku with a guilty expression while pointing a finger at him. He is just right now here, and we are both looking at him. Izuku Midoriya, you will become the one who will rule the world in 50 years. The Demon King, Omazai-o, is you. At her revelation, Ochako covered her mouth in shock, while looking at the boy with some kind of fear. Tsukayomi could only close her in shame. She didn't want to frighten the kid so much, but there wasn't any other way. And Izuku could only do one thing. Eh? He asked. Using some luck, Jeez escaped All Might's assault, and right now he tries to rest in the forest near the city. All Might really lived up to his reputation, Jeez said while exiting his beaten time machine. Only an incredible man could scratch a robot. And this robot left serious dents, and it looks like he wouldn't travel in time for a while. Only he could damage time machine so much that it disabled many features. If only he knew why I target young Omazayo. At that moment, Jeez decided to look at the city. He was so obsessive at killing Omazayo, so he didn't notice the beauty of the past. It was so different. Their trees, water, mountains, cities. He heard about them from elders who did survive Demon King. People do their normal deals. Nobody thinks about how to survive in the wasteland. All of them live normal happy lives without any dangers. It was beautiful. If he could compare both places in one word, then he would describe the past as heaven and the future as hell. And he will do anything to keep this heaven, no matter who his opponent is. Why couldn't he look more menacing than that? Myacoin asked rhetorically. He still couldn't comprehend the fact that his hatred enemy who kills his comrades, who can wipe out entire mountains and cities with a simple wave of his hand, is a simple little kid who looks weak and fragile, almost quirkless. He could really believe that they chose the wrong person. However, his superior's research shows them that they didn't make mistakes. He is Omazayo. Tsukayomi. He mentally cursed his partner for her interference. However, he can't really blame her. Both of them were studying with the same man. Both of them didn't want to kill an innocent person only because of his future. But no matter how you look at it, there was only one way to save his world. Omazayo must cease to exist. For that to happen, Izukumidoriya must be killed. Simple as that. But if Tsukayomi's plan succeeds, he unexpectedly thought, he is ready to convince her idea. However, her plan is too far-fetched. To simply stalk him before Oma's day happened, and making sure that he didn't receive power from the Demon King. Despite what people said, Jeez is a soldier, not a hero. His superiors gave him orders, and he completed them without questions, even if he thinks that these orders are completely wrong. What did I do to deserve this struggle? He commented on his life. He doesn't know what to do, what to choose, his moral compass or wishes for a bright future. He was also curious. Did Izukumidoriya already plan how he would destroy the world? Actually, Jeez was completely wrong, because right now Izukumidoriya hypervalenting from sudden news about his future. I will become Demon King in the future, he screamed in disbelief and panic. I will destroy all heroes, kamenriders and whole world? How is it possible? What will happen to me? What would Kaken say if he would learn about that? Oh no, how Aka-san would react to it. She would probably disown me and never wanted to know me. I will become orphan, villain and rider killer in the future. While he was screaming in fear, both girls could only look with sweat drops at this display. They couldn't imagine how this demon dictator from the future would act like. It is surprising that other dinosaurs didn't find them. Are you sure that you didn't mistake him? Asked Ochako in confusion and pity, watching the poor boy tearing himself apart. Unfortunately, I am sure, Tsukayomi answered grimly. All our elders' research pointed out that Omazayo is Izukumidoriya. I know that I only met him today, but I don't think he has evil bones in his body, let alone priorities to become Demon King, said Uraraka, her thoughts out loud. And couldn't you be more tact? I know it, the girl from the future clarified. But nobody knows how he became it in the first place, or who he was before his ascension, and I don't think tact would work in a situation like this. You got a point at the last one, commented Brunette with a shrug. We should somehow calm him down before he loses consciousness from all this panic. Good idea, Uraraka-san, agreed Blackhead. Izuku-san, calm down. I know that this news is hard to comprehend, but you must listen. How is it possible? He screamed, completely not hearing her. I can't be literally Omazayo. I am quirkless. I don't have superpowers, let alone driver. I am powerless. Omazayo is quirkless? She asked in shock. If someone from 2068 heard it, they would think that it is some kind of joke, which is not funny. It's impossible. He has powers to vanquish armies without any difficulties. You are supposed to have the greatest quirk in existence. You are lying. I don't think he can lie right now, Ochako commented, looking at the boy at some concern. He is too spooked to try. He can only tell the truth. Let's test your theory, nodded Tsukayomi in understanding. Midoriya-san, do you think that Uraraka-san is pretty? She is the prettiest girl I ever met in my life, Izuku answered without thinking. When he understood what he said, he closed his mouth with both hands while blushing red uncomfortably. His comment made Ochako blush either. Seeing her work accomplished, Tsukayomi continued. Okay, it worked better than I expected. Let me continue. What I said is true. Midoriya-san, you will become Demon King in the future, and I want to prevent it from happening. For that I must know, did you obtain a ride watch? Ride watch? He asked in confusion, trying to understand what it is. Acting on instinct, he takes the blank object he picked today. Is that it? I took it today. At first glance, I thought that it was some kind of toy. But right now, I think it connected somehow to all of this. However, Tsukuyomi didn't let him explain, as she suddenly took it from his hand and threw it far away from the group. Seeing it landed in a pond nearby, she lets out a sigh of relief and explains herself. It was indeed a ride watch. Fortunately, it was blank and unusable for now. They need a driver to work. Just like W's Gaia memory or drives shift cars, Midoriya deduced in realization. He knows that almost all Heisei riders use some kind of trinkets or support items to transform or to fight. Or like Fours, Astro Switches, and Ghosts icons, continued Ochako with a smile. Precisely, Tsukuyomi commented with a shrug before going to Time Mazine. Now we must go back to the present before other dinosaurs come to us. With these words, all of them left to the robot. So far so good. By destroying a ride watch and without a driver, the future of Omazai-O is impossible. However, Tsukuyomi can't let Izuku alone because of the G's who wants him dead. She hopes that she can make him see a reason. Bakugo Katsuki was livid and angry as hell itself. After learning that his familiar Pebble decided to apply for UA, he became engulfed in rage so much that he could burn the entire school. If it wasn't bad, he lost to pathetic quirkless Deku. He wanted to kill something to calm down. I think you were too hard on Midoriya today, Bakugo, commented one of Katsuki's lackeys. They only talk with him because of his popularity. I mean, he told me that he wants to join the UA, but maybe he goes for general studies. It's high school after all. You are much more dumbass than I thought, Katsuki insulted with his usual scoff. He always dreamt to be a hero. After he learned that he is useless, he didn't give up. It became worse when he learnt about the existence of the kamenriders. He thinks that some training will make a hero out of him. But he will fail, and that happens I would be here to see it. But you must admit they are powerful, second lackey said with a shrug. Plus, he kinda defeated you today. At that moment, Bakugo glared at his friends and continued with a snarl. Deku is not Kamen Rider. He is a quirkless reject, and he totally cheated in our fight. He couldn't defeat me fair. What of that you don't understand? Before he could continue his assault, Katsuki smelled something stinky and disgusted. He then turns around and sees an amount of sludge, eyes and teeth coming at him. Finally, a real bodysuit with a powerful quirk, it cackled manically. It would be the last thing Bakugo heard before his life would change forever. Time travel is not actually painful as some movies portray it. It was actually swift and painless. After coming back, Tsukuyomi explained her motives further. She told them that she plans to stay in present and monitor him for a long time. Probably his entire life. She also said that she would try to reason with her G's partner about stopping killing him. The fact that because of him some innocent girl became his sitter made him feel guilty for not only ruining her life but making her binded to him forever. But she showed the same determination to stop him from becoming Demon King as himself when someone talks about heroes or Kamen Riders. Remembering his idols made Midoriya feel much worse. He always dreamt to become a hero as All Might and Heisei riders. He concentrates on it all his life, training his mind and body. After learning that he will kill everything that he loves, he couldn't find any explanation to that. That he will become some kind dystopia ruler wasn't at his mind a slightest. He even didn't wish anything bad at anybody. It sounded like a big fat unfunny joke. How is it possible, he thought in sadness. How did I become Omazai-O? Where do I get that power? I am quirkless. It's impossible. I couldn't kill. Are you all right? Asked Ochako, interrupting him from his thoughts. Her face lost all that blushing from his confession. She looks at him in worry and concern. I don't know, he answered in disappointment. It was so difficult for him to understand everything that happened, so even when a pretty girl talks to him, it is irreverent for him. If someone told me that I would become the greatest villain who will destroy the world, I would pretty much be a mess either, Uraraka joked, trying to cheer him up. And it worked a little. Listen, I know that we are only just me today, but I don't think that you would become some kind of overlord. You don't look so evil. Thanks. I really appreciate it, Izuku answered with a small smile. At least someone believes in him. You know what's worse? I have always dreamt of being a hero. To save innocent civilians from danger and criminals. But after learning that I am quirkless, people told me that it will be impossible and told me to give up. And then I was left alone. Nobody wanted to be near me. It's so sad, commented Tsukuyomi in pity. Where I am coming from, no one cares about whether you have a quirk or not. Thanks for your kind words, Midoriya thanked both girls. But I didn't give up and believe that sometimes my dream will come true. And one day I was saved by kamenrider. After hearing of their existence of quirkless heroes, my drive to be a hero became stronger than ever. I hope that one day I would become one of them. And now I learned that my destiny is to become the worst and evilest villain in existence. The fact that I will become someone that is the complete opposite of my dream is insane. I don't understand. I don't have a quirk or a driver. And I will make sure that you will never get it, Tsukuyomi reassured him while placing a hand on his shoulder. She then continues to move forward. You know, I didn't say thank you for your compliment back in Jurassic, said Ochako, trying to change a topic with blushing cheeks. Did it look weird? He asked in fear, already afraid that he hurt her. No, it was kind of sweet, she answered with a smile. Do you really think so? Izuku asked in an eager manner. Yes, I do, Brunette answered happily. Boys in my school didn't even notice me. Unbelievable, Midoriya simply said in disbelief. He couldn't imagine that kind girl as Uraraka is not popular. Are all boys in her school blind? I am curious which school you are from. Your uniform is too familiar. Oh, it's easy. I am from before Uraraka could continue. She was interrupted by a loud explosion in the background. Alarming at it, Izuku runs to the source of sound with girls after him. When they run to it, they see a big commotion with heroes, police, firemen, civilians, etc. Everywhere was chaos, destroyed environment, big fires, panicked citizens. What surprised the group the most was that heroes, whose job was to save lives, were doing absolutely nothing. What's happening here? Izuku asked in confusion and dread. Some kind of villain made a sludge attack child and made him a hostage, said one of the civilians. Thanks for the help, geez, cursed Tsukuyomi with sarcasm. She already had some thoughts that a sludge villain could escape when Jeez and All Might were fighting each other. He will get his share for that stunt. Why don't heroes do anything? Asked Ochako in panic. They don't have the right quirk for a job. They are waiting for a right hero, explained one of the civilians before running away. Izuku could only gap in shock at this display. It was his fault that sludge villain was angry and escaped. If he didn't go that way, this poor person could have a good day without being a hostage. It is my fault. Before he could quietly apologize, he was startled again by an explosion. Let me go, you fucking sludge, screamed a familiar voice accompanied by an explosion. It's Kaken, Midoriya said in shock, disbelief and guilt. It was his fault that his old friend became a hostage. And he is suffering for his mistake. What makes things worse is that heroes don't do anything to help. They use some petty excuses such as quirk disadvantage or All Might will come. Why don't they do it themselves? After the hard day and everything that happened to him, Izuku couldn't contain his anger, fear, guilt, so that he let it out in one simple question. Why are you not doing anything? He would die at this rate. At his outburst, both girls jump out of it. They didn't expect this quiet boy to blow out so loud. But if you remember what happened to him, then it wasn't anything surprising. However, what happens next takes their breath away. Everything stopped. Literally. The world becomes frozen solid. Nobody was moving. Even the flames had not flickered and danced. It was like someone pushed a pause on the movie. What's happened? Tsukuyomi announced a question every three was thinking. The quiet was broken by clapping, and Waz with his book entered the scene, looking more pleased than usual. It was the beautiful words Wagamau. They were truly resonating from the heart. It's a pity that nobody can hear it, so then they would learn something. After all, heroes must always take risks. Am I wrong? Waz-san, greeted Izuku in confusion, not understanding why he can move in this freezing time. Is he your friend? Ochako asked in worry. Don't talk with him, Midoriya-san. Uraraka-san, screamed Tsukuyomi in anger while pointing a watch-looking gun at the Waz. He is the prophet of Oma. You want to say he works for a future me? He deduced in disbelief. Your mind is sharp even in the past, Midoriya-sama. Indeed, I am your loyal servant till my last breath, and I serve only to you. I swear my own life at it, announced Waz, shocking Izuku before looking at the future girl. I also didn't expect to see you so soon, Tsukuyomi-kun. How is Jeez-kun, by the way? It's not your deal, traitor, she answered with such anger and venom that she reminded Izuku his old friend. He doesn't want to become that monster. "Wa-san, can you resume time for heroes so they can save Kaken?" asked Midoriya in deep confusion. He never expected to find himself a servant. He doesn't know what to expect from this fact. But maybe if Waz could help him, then it means Kaken would live. "Unfortunately, I can't do it, Izuku-sama," the prophet answered with a frown, breaking the poor boy's hopes. "The only reason why all of you can move here, it's only because you have Ridewatch to protect you." At his words, Midoriya puts his hand in his pocket and finds the same familiar blank Ridewatch Tsukuyomi threw out in the Jurassic. How did it return? It came back. "How? We threw it out in the past," screamed Ochako in shock and agreement. "It's not easy to fool destiny, Izuku-sama," said Waz coming to him. "That Ridewatch is bound to your soul forever. It's impossible to get rid of it. However, there is not any other way out. Heroes are afraid to risk their lives. If you don't act, then Katsuki Bakugo will die. You are the only one who can help him." "Don't listen to him, Izuku-kan," countered Uraraka looking at the prophet, preparing for the worst. "He is probably one of those villains who loves to play with people's principles." "She is right, Midoriya-san. You can't trust that sleazy traitorous bastard," agreed Tsukuyomi, pointing her pistol phone at the head. "Such vicious words from a person who has a bloodline with a famed hero of our time," commented with a sneer without any worries at a gun which is very close to his head. "Despite your doubts, all of us know that you want to save Katsuki Bakugo and have the means to do it." That put Izuku Midoriya in a difficult choice. On the first hand, he wanted to save Katsuki Bakugo from death. But on the other side, the second he still sees a helmet of his future self with glowing red visor. He is afraid that if something would go wrong, then he would become Omazayo. But he can't let Kaken die because of his fears. "I don't have a driver," he simply answered with a frown. "You have nothing to worry about, Izuku-sama," answered Waz, taking out an emerald cushion. On top of it is a strange-looking belt buckle. The design is mostly white, resembling the decoration of a watch with LED screen in the center. On either side were round slots, probably to fit Ridewatches. "It's Ziku driver. It will give you power to transform into Kamenrider Zio." "Don't touch it, Izuku-kun," warned Ochako in fear, seeing as Izuku was ready to take a belt. "We know what would happen to you if you use it." "Midoriya-san, I know we only just met. But I know that you are a good person. You don't want to become Omazayo, so please, let it go." "Tsukuyomi-san, Uraraka-san, thank you for everything," he said with a smile while taking a belt. "I know you want what is best for me. But I just can't sit down and do nothing when someone is in danger. I will use this power to Kaken's life." At exactly the same moment, his blank Ridewatch starts to glow before it changes. It became black one with white dial. The watch had the year 2018 in the down, while up there was a symbol which means Kamen in katakana. He then turns faceplate, making a face of a strange and unknown rider. Finally, he pushes a button on top of the Ridewatch. Zio. Izuku inserts the watch in the right slot of the belt and pushes the button on the top of the belt, making it tilt anti-clockwise. The belt screen began to flash as his body seemed to move by its own. His right arm moved back while his left hand rose level to his head. Unbeknownst to Midoriya, behind him a see-through clock appeared seemingly from nowhere, accompanied by clock gears that traveled around the clock's edge, and the clock hands traveled anti-clockwise. Tsukuyomi could only look gap in shock at a big reminder from her time. Everything looked like Omazayo's statue when he was about to transform. At last, Izuku twists his hand and proclaims a phrase that will start a way for any true Kamen Rider. Henshin. And his left hand fell, connecting with the belt, spinning at 360 degrees, until it landed back where it started and locked in place. Rider time. For a second all four felt that the world spin around with the belt as the clock and gears balanced out and landed on 12, before the hands split off and pointed to 10 and 2 respectively, with pink katakana which read Rider appearing on the clock face. Kamen Rider, Zio. Izuku was immediately surrounded by 3 silvery human-sized rings that looked like watch straps, glowing with a pink aura and energy. Within the sphere, he emerged in black bodysuit with dark gray boots with silver anklets, pink markings on shin guards, silver watch crown-styled kneecaps. On his hips were 2 more pink stripes. From his chest to his waist was a single silver link watch strap. Over his shoulders and chest was a watch's edge-styled shoulder guard. His hands were wrapped in black gloves with pink markings, 4 wrist holders that held 4 blank watches similar to his own. Finally, Izuku's helmet was a watch's face. The clock hands pointed to 10 and 2 respectively, mirroring the transformation sequence behind him. At last 3 pink katakana characters slammed in the front of his visor, forming the rider. This is how transformation ended. And in the place of izukumidoriya was kamenrider's I.O. Before girls could tell their thoughts, Waz decided to interrupt. Iwi, he is heir to all kamenrider, the king of time who travels beyond time and space to rule over the past and the future. His name is kamenrider's I.O., and right now, we witness the dawn of his advent. Izuku then raises his right arm, index and thumb stretches out. Kamenrider's I.O., he declared, showing his true side. I am ready to be a hero. And with these words, he left his friends and ran to the danger. On some street was walking one of Bakugo's cronies. It was a difficult 2 months for him. It started with Sludge Villain's attack on Katsuki, then appearance of the new Kamenrider, Zio, and finally, a new student at their school, who is also a quirkless with an attitude. All of that made his boss angrier than usual. He started to train himself to prepare for the entrance exam in the U.A. But the strangest thing in him was that he left antagonizing Midoriya and Mayacoin completely, just like they don't exist anymore. It didn't worry him a slightest. He doesn't even care what's wrong with Bakugo. What concerns him is the fact that he completely forgot about them. It's a bad thing for him. Takumi knows that with his quirk, he doesn't have a chance in the world. The only way he had is to join someone with a powerful one with a big future on his shoulders. And who is better than Katsuki Bakugo with his explosion quirk? Dreamed to be a #1 hero and with such an attitude. If he was his sidekick, then he would have a much better chance in life as someone who knows #1 hero. It's supposed to be his perfect life. And now it's ruined. And it's all this Kamenrider's fault. If he never showed up and let All Might do his job, then Bakugo wouldn't be so mad. He doesn't understand what people love in Kamenriders. Yeah, maybe they have awesome weapons and cool bikes, but everything came from their belts. If someone destroys them, then they would become weak, quirkless people. Anybody could do their jobs. He would become a better rider than all of them. While walking, he used his quirk, fingers which can extend, to pick his nose and ear. He didn't even notice as he crossed the road at the red light. Suddenly, a speeding car drove behind him at full throttle. For a moment, Takumi thought that this is how he would die, without accomplishing anything in his life. Fortunately, someone was nearby. Unexpectedly, everything stopped in place. The car, the birds, flying leaves. Nothing moved. Takumi turns around and sees a new figure. This figure is a young boy with black hair and long neck in a blue jacket with silver buttons and zips, blue trousers and silver shoes. His name is Hura. He is one of the Time Jackers. They are a group of people who also came from 2068 future to stop Omazayo, but their means and goals are more different than from our heroes. The most noticeable in him was the fact that he was the only one who could move. My name is Hura, he said cheerfully with a smile. And now you are in my debt. What do you mean? Takumi asked, trying to sound tough, but inside he was deeply scared. How did this man is the only one who is moving? You are supposed to die today, Hura explained with a shrug. I stopped the time and saved you at the last moment before the speeding car was supposed to hit you. I supposed to die? The kid asked himself in shock. And now when I save you, you must do something for me. Or else the car gonna hit you, Time Jacker said while taking out a ride watch, but this one was a dark purple watch with a different form. Now what are you gonna choose? Okay, I will do whatever you asked, Takumi said frantically, being afraid for his life. What do I need to do? At his answer, Wall could only do a sinister smile. His plan is working. Nothing difficult. You need to become a Kamenrider, he answered, confusing a teenager. Hura then throws the watch at the teen, who caught it. In a panic, Takumi shakingly pushes the top button on the watch. Hologram clock hands spun around and showed a monstrous face of a red and blue creature. What makes things scarier is that an unnatural sound coming from it and a single word was heard. Build. Then another watch changed into a small purple vortex, which divided into 3 parts. The first 2 flew into his hands and made the form of 2 small red and blue rusted and cracked bottles. And the bigger vortex moved onto his waist before finally transforming. It was a black rectangle-like belt buckle with big enough space to insert 2 broken bottles, a worn broken gear, and a red handle crank. Seeing such ugly devices on his body, Bully's crony screams in pain and fear. Seeing the poor boy in that state made the time jacker only to laugh. His work is almost done. Soon the new rider will be created, and he will be their new king who would listen only to him. From now on, you are Kamen Rider build. After this words, Takumi's mind was taken by something. Then he inserts the 2 bottles into the empty space, perfectly fitting it. Rabbit, tank, best match, the monster belt announced in dark and distortion voice. Then, without a warning, Takumi cranked a belt, activating a terrifying melody jingle while generating a large cloud of dark blue and black mist around the area. Another time, Takumi is wrapping into a violet sphere and changing him. His body is almost carved and clasped with red and blue bent and torn metals, a worn black bodysuit and spikes coming from the tops of his feet, shoulders and hands, with blue fingers claws on his right red hand and red fingers claws on the blue hand left. Around his waist is a black rectangle with red and blue cracked bottles, a worn broken gear, and a red handle crank that become his belt. His chest was split with red and blue metal going over his left shoulder to his right hip. Emblazoned on his right hypochondrium is, written in English, the word build. On his left trapezius is located a data 2017. His face is an ugly perversion, exposed teeth, an exposed nose and jagged eye lenses that looked like a rabbit's head and a tank. This is another build or build smash. He is another rider, one of the creatures which can imitate abilities of the original Kamen Riders they were created from. Build. Then Build Smash let out his loud wail, telling the world what he needed. Best match. In this world, 80% of the world's population are blessed with superhuman capabilities. The others are labeled quirkless. They are normal humans. However, there are in this world who don't possess such genetic mutations. These people are called Kamen Riders, true heroes in the shadows. And right now, the Heisei Kamen Riders have passed through this era. It's time to pass that power down to the future generation. Rejoice at the birth of the new king. A clock tick by. Izuku looks up to his Kamen Rider analysis for the future notebooks. With each rider face and their logo symbols appear near their respective volumes. Oh, yeah. Oh. His face then changes to become Zai-O and runs forward, leaving only Jiz and Tsukayomi to look at him solemnly. Ishun de Tsukumidoru no sa, are you ready? Are you lazy? Izuku and his friends enter UA. Before the time freezes with Izuku swapped with Zai-O who is unaffected. Adarashi Rikishi wa Soko nai feel it. Crazy baby. Jiz and Tsukayomi quietly spy after them. And then time stops. Jiz becomes Kamen Rider Jiz and continues his spy game. Both riders look at the screen. Hikari wo kate nai kasakushe. Kanamama shouted out. Ima wo suzumyo. In the future, Zai-O walks around the destruction he caused. Then he stops on his way is the unknown figure, which is completely covered by a long dark brown coat. Figure's left eye is glowing red. In answer to that, Zai-O's katakana visor is glowing red either. Mado hai mo ikudo tanaku asu no tabira tadek. Tobai kand mitra. Believe yourself. Then the scene changes to the present time, with Izuku and Jiz instead. Both of them look at their respective ride watches. Around them is a circle which consists of Class 1 at U.A. teachers, All Might and past Heisei riders. Suddenly League of Villains and Time Jackers appear with some of Nomus and other riders. At last young riders nod to each other and simply spin their drivers to henshin. Now, over quarter. Toki no aim Suranuki Tomonai. Over quarter. Murai wo koyo. Then with a big explosion 2 forces attacked. Each Kamen Rider of the Heisei era fights against their counterparts with 1 student side by side. To end the battle, All Might and Kuga Ultimate Rising use their powers to defeat the villains. All for One looks at this power sinisterly in the hidden background. Kako no ishi wa yuzo diwa azamuknai. Kenjiro so Nexus Future. Now, over quarter. Mabayui Sekai. The final scene shows Izuku and Jiz staring at each other while remembering the moments when they were saved by a Kamen Rider and figure in cloak respectively. Then boys start to fight using Jiken Jurade and Jiken's axe. Waz looked at it in intrigue, Tsukayomi and Ochako in worry, Katsuki in confusion. And Tsukasa simply makes photos of battle. The made photo then unexpectedly distorts, swapping Jiz with Zai-O. Mesite. Then last shot featuring Izuku's friends, which are G's, Tsukayomi, Waz, Ochako, Tenya, Katsuki and Tsukasa's silhouette in the shadows looking in the screen while title Kamenrider Zio Heisei Hero King appears near them with you. A. in the background. It has been 2 months since Izuku became Kamenrider Zio. His life completely changed. His dream could finally be possible. And he gained new friends. Ochako, G's, Tsukayomi and Waz. But that friendship was a little difficult. With Ochako it was nothing wrong. They talked like normal people, despite his shyness in talking to girls. But he still doesn't know which school she belongs to. But with Future Trio, it was very problematic. They were walking with him constantly. Wherever he goes they went after him. It was like he was a prisoner on the watching. And it gets tiresome very easily. G's and Tsukayomi even moved in the house near his, so then they would know what he was doing. Waz somehow could pop up at unexpectedly time and in unexpectedly place. His sudden appearances always startled Izuku, but he would always welcome the prophet of Oma. Maybe it was because he has complete certainty in Midoriya's abilities. Someone who Izuku always lacked in his life. Person who believes in him. Right now, the trio of friends exit the school and ready to go home. Finally, the lessons are over, admitted Tsukayomi with a tired sigh. Is that what people teach at that time period? Kinda boring. Agree. Nothing useful to use in real life, added G's with an agreement. It wouldn't help them to survive. Also, did you notice that we never were assaulted by an old man? You know what, G's? You are right. It was like he completely forgot that we exist, said Alpina in agreement. But maybe that's good news. Imagine what he could if he learnt about our future. I think he would die from laughing, commented Midoriya deadpan, knowing that this will be Bakugou's reaction, while looking at his bully's future granddaughter. I still can't believe that you are Kaken's grand. Snap out of it, I will not carry you again, screamed Mayakoin in annoyance. After learning about the blood ties of Tsukayomi, Izuku fainted, and continues to faint every time he hears about it. Sorry. I still can't believe that Kaken will marry and will have a granddaughter, apologized Izuku sheepishly. Also, do I have some kids in the future? Well, he is different in our time. Looks like the apocalypse can change the people completely, she commented with a little smile. Then her face became sad. And about your question. There weren't any mentions about Zio's family. Looks like you never had a family or heir. More likely this devil was afraid that his offspring would kill him and seize the throne, commented G's in hateful disdain. Despite meeting Izuku, he still couldn't let go of his hatred for his elder self. Maybe, said Izuku with a shaky smile. Despite the fact that Mayakoin promised him not to kill him, he couldn't get from the fact that his future self destroyed his life. Midoriya was kinda afraid that G's will kill him the first chance he gets. But he can't be blamed for it. Also, I am curious about G's-kun. What can you say about yourself? I had a family, a boy from the future admitted, freezing the green boy in his tracks. I had a kinda happy childhood. My grandparents were great and respective heroes of their own time. But despite their job, they always showed me that they love me. However, I lost everything when Zio came to our home. G's-kun, I am so sorry, Izuku almost wailed before Alpina covered his mouth. Don't blame yourself, continued Mayakoin. It was not completely your fault. All his life my grandpa uses only half of his power, and that was his downfall. I lost my family because of him. Then I was founded by an old man. After that I promised myself that I will give my everything against any opponent I would fight against. It's so sad, G's-kun. I can't imagine what it feels to lose all your family. I am sorry, Izuku admitted with tears. Now he knows why G's wanted to kill him. He doesn't have anyone to live for. He himself would be devastated if he would lose his mother. Say, would you and Tsukayomi-san go with me to you, eh? I told you that I need to watch over you, so I will join you in your hero journey. I don't have a choice for this matter, answered G's. But there was one more reason for him to go to you, eh? I will go to you, eh? Too, but I think I will go to general studies, answered Tsukayomi with a shrug. Despite my skills and quirk, I would prefer to stay out of the lines. I also wanted to ask you, Tsukayomi-san, what quirk do you have? Asked Midoriya eagerly. Before she could answer, they were rudely interrupted by the scoff. Looks like delusions are contagious, commented another student behind them. It was a boy their age with black hair and darkened black eyes from the lack of sleep. His name is Hiryu Kakagawa, the second quirkless student of Aldara Junior High. However, unlike Izuku, he got in his own head that it's impossible to become a hero without a quirk. In addition, he mocks Midoriya and laughs at his dream, telling him that he is delusional. Kakagawa-kun greeted Midoriya with a tired sigh. This person irritates him more than Katsuki, and that's telling something. I knew that you were insane with your ideas about being quirkless hero, but I didn't know that you would spread it towards others, Hiryu said in monotone. When will you accept that quirkless just can't become heroes, and that your dreams are nothing more than a desperate attempt to find yourself in that world? Maybe my dream is indeed insane, but I will never know if that is possible if I just didn't try, explained Izuku with a frown. It will be better than to be depressive and hateful towards everything. Whatever, commented Kakagawa before walking away, leaving the group alone. Who was that guy? Alpina asked in confusion. That was Hiryu Kakagawa. He is a quirkless student from another class, answered Izuku sadly. It was sad when he couldn't talk with people in a situation like himself. He acknowledged the fact that all quirkless people are not fitted to be heroes. For some reason he hates me and tells me that my dreams are nonsense. But his hatred is very different from Kaken. He hates me only because he wants to become the only student who graduated from this school in the U.A. Hero course. However, Hiryu just despises my own existence. He was always looking at me with a hateful look in his eyes, and I don't know why. Well, don't worry about that guy. You would not see him for a while, commented Jeez, somehow trying to reassure the Izuku. He doesn't care if person do or not having a quirk. You don't have a right to bury entire population in the ground. But didn't Bakugo understand that even if he did graduate from this school to UA alone, it doesn't change the fact that in the next year there would be some others who would like to enter UA after him? I really don't know, answered Midoriya with a shrug. Gramps is an idiot, commented Tsukayomi deadpanning. It was a good day for Ruga Banjo. His favorite shop had a stock, and he bought every protein bottle and ramen. He was lucky today, and with a happy face and grocery bags he goes home while his own song. Protein, ramen, best match, he sang cheerfully. However, he didn't notice that he crashed into someone. Then both of them fell to the ground. Then Banjo sees that his precious protein was destroyed. He wants to punch the bastard who did it, only to take his breath away. He learns that the bastard was a woman. A pretty and strong woman, if he can say something like that. She is probably his age, maybe a year older. She has an athletic build with muscular arms and legs. She has dark skin, red eyes which are tilted slightly inwards, long eyelashes, and straight white hair reaching down past her waist. On her head, she has a pair of long white rabbit ears pointing upwards with a slight crook. Along with these, she also has a round white tail, which gives her overall design a definite resemblance to an albino rabbit. She wears a white short with long sleeves with skin-tight jeans exposing her strong toned calves while wearing a belt with a buckle with a yellow crescent moon. She wears purple thigh-high boots. Her name is Rumi Yuzujama, also known as N7 Rabbit Hero, Mirko. Before Banjo could open his mouth, he was rudely interrupted by her scream. My carrots, she wailed, seeing her food smashed. That was your fault. Watch, where are you going, idiot? I am an idiot. Don't mess with me, asked Ruga in shock. That's you who didn't watch where you were going. Do you even know who you are talking to? Rumi screamed at him. I don't know and I don't care, answered Banjo in anger. But you destroyed my free protein and you are gonna pay. Bring it on, protein idiot, Yuzujama said while shaking her fist at her opponent. Fortunately, before they could fight, there were explosions and people screamed. What the hell is happening out there? Asked both Banjo and Rumi simultaneously while running to the field. Don't repeat after me. I told you don't repeat after me. On the way to the training grounds, our heroes met with Ochako, who Izuku was really glad to see. While walking, Ochako decided to ask the future duo one important question. Tsukayomi-san, say you two and Waz-san are the only ones who traveled to the past? Asked Ochako in curiosity. At her question, both Jeez and Alpina could only look at each other solemnly before nodding to each other. Actually, there is one group who could travel in this time period either, admitted Tsukayomi. They call themselves Time Jackers. They were part of the resistance before, but they defected after we learned their objectives. They want to stop Omazai-O as much as us, continued Jeez with a frown. But they don't want to just kill him. They want to create a new king of time and space. so that they can rule the world. But how do they plan to do it? Asked Izuku in worry. After seeing video of Omazayo's powers, he can't even imagine the being who can rival in his strength. They are using another watches to create another riders, answered Waz, appearing behind the group, startling them. It's a crude version created from original Kamen riders. They can suppress the powers of the riders they were based off. But that's just a theory. Waz Kunwa-san, asked both Midoriya and Uraraka at his sudden appearance. What did you forget here, traitor? Asked Jeez in anger. Despite seeing the prophet almost every day, he still can't let go from his hatred to a man. Glad to see you either, Jeez-kun, commented Waz, not looking offended at his former friend. And I already told you that I will help Wagamao to help on his way to the ascension. And I am with grim news. Time Jackers are here, and they already created another rider. Are you sure? Asked Tsukuyomi in horror. Seeing him nodded made her pale. What destruction they could do with the other riders. Where is it? At her question, the loud explosion was created in the nearby street. Interesting way to answer the question. Does this count as an answer, Tsukuyomi-kun? Asked Waz jokingly. No time to fool around, commented Jeez, taking his own ride watch. We need to transform. Wait, Jeez-kun, we can't, screamed Izuku in protest, grabbing girl's hand. There are people around here, they can't learn our secret identities. Why not? Asked Jeez in anger. There are many people who know about the true identities of other riders. Why can't we? If we people learn about our identities, then they will have many questions, explained Midoriya in panic. And we can't give them answers. They would think we are insane. What do you suggest then? Asked Mayacoin in intrigue. We will find this another rider and transform in the shadows, finished Izuku with determination. With these words, Izuku's gang runs to the dangers. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 2. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author Mickle97 on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.